brother. We're looking forward to it. Sit up, give me undivided attention. Thank you, brother.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, there we go. Learned how to press a button. That'll make my computer job a little easier when I go back. You guys are getting weird. It is what, day 3 of camp? 5? Day 2? Oh, the 2. It's day 2. Yeah. You guys are getting weird, okay? I watched a human being consume an entire peach in one bite. Pit and all. I asked her, I was like, where'd the pit go? She's like, I ate it. It was like my toddler, right? Hey, you just had a penny, where'd it go? And then I watched a kid. I heard the words. You ever seen somebody wheelie a boat? What? Specifically a canoe? No. And then he like threw the canoe in the water, jumped in the back of it, and just started convulsing. Didn't really do anything. And he's like, nailed it. And then he just started paddling away. You guys are getting weird. I don't know if you need more water, or more nutrition, or what. I ate some hot sauce earlier. That I could have sworn you just milked it straight from a dragon. It was like it lit me up, man. Where'd you go? Oh, yeah, you're right there. That stuff's nasty, dude. That was bad. Oh, what else happened? Oh, I met a 19-year-old who looked 37. I was like, why are you talking so disrespectfully? You're a grown adult. She's like, I'm 19. And I'm like, whoa! Don't drink the river water, I tell you that much. Gets you. And then, to finish, there's that dragon. Does anybody know what this is, or does this guy just set it up so he can go out and drink? He doesn't want to go to the bathroom when everyone else goes. So he sets up a little timer out there with his phone on top of this trash can. Hey. And then, at the end of all this very strange day I've been having, I'm going to pick on some, I'm so sorry, I don't care anymore. It's day 3, right? What's your name, brother? Titus. Now you came up here to announce that you're courting that young lady back there, right? Yeah. That is the coolest power play I've ever seen. I want to grow up to be half the man he is. That is awesome, right? First of all, courtship is awesome. I'm going to tell you a few things about that because I was thinking about it right there. I think that if I'm very careful, I can work it right in my message. I think it all makes sense if I'm very careful. Courtship is a beautiful thing. I got the opportunity to court my wife, and I had a similar experience to you later on, but right from the start, I went and I sat down and I talked with my pastor. And I was like, Pastor, I like Allie. I think she's awesome. And he goes, oh, that's great. You two would be great together. You're both faithful in ministry. You're both doing this stuff. You two would be great. You need to go talk to her dad. I'm like, great, right? So me and Allie, I'm gonna give you some. This is my opinion, all right? You do as your parents and as your pastor instructs. But if you show an interest in a young lady, and you're like, wow, we both like each other, or if you don't show an interest in a young lady and they just happen to exist in proximity to you, do not text them. A child left to himself bringeth his mother to shame. Hey, do you know when relationships start? Is when you start having conversations that no one else can listen to.
Right.
You start saying things you would never say if someone else was listening to.
Yeah.
That's all text messaging is. That's why when you sit in a room like this, all the pastors are texting one. And they're like, this idiot, I cannot believe. Those are usually, back in the old days, you have to go get coffee and badmouth the preacher. Now, instantaneous communication, right? Don't text boys, don't text girls. Girls don't text boys. Girls.
Amen.
Dude, do not text boys.
Amen.
They're the worst, okay?
Yes. Yes.
But anyways, me and my wife were texting, we were communicating. And I said, hey, I talked with Pastor. She was my wife at the time. I said, we're talking with Pastor. He says I need to talk to your dad, so I want to set that up. She texted me back like 30 minutes later, and she's like, set it up, don't worry. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, I got it all super we're gonna have dinner like this day, like show up. And I'm like, she's in charge, right? She knows what's up, right? Good foundation. Anyway,
This happened before.
and so then I showed up, and like in the middle of this conversation, I don't want to jump ahead of the story, but in the middle of the conversation, he goes, yeah, I really admire, and he's a big fella. He's like 6'6", big fella, big softy, huge nougaty center on that crusty old thing. All right, it is. Anyways, he's going through it, and he's like, hey, you know, I really admire that you had the courage to come and talk to me. You know, I wish you would set up yourself. I'm not sure why you had her Allie do it. And I'm like, I'm not sure why you raised her to just set up those kind of meetings, right? You know, I wasn't gonna say that on the chicken. And but anyway, so I go and I have the meeting, and funniest thing happened, right? So I want to get to the story. I'm a young man, right? I'm wearing this bright orange. It wasn't a t-shirt. It had a collar on it. It was just like a polo shirt. I'm wearing this bright orange polo shirt. I look like a basketball. And I'm like sitting across from him, and you know, and he's making all these comments like, I almost put a shotgun on the table, but I decided that, you know, I'll give you a little more respect than that. He's making all these lame dad jokes or whatever. We all sit on the table. I'm sitting here, you know, his wife's sitting here, Allie's sitting here, and then Mr. Tom's sitting across the table. He goes to pray. It's a long prayer, long format prayer. Some people, when they pray in public, thinks that quantity equals quality, right? So he's going on, dear Lord, Jehovah God, protector of the universe, maker of men, destroyer of enemies. I don't know, he's just going on, right? He's praying. I'm watching the food's getting cold, he's praying. And he goes, and he says these exact words, follow me here, he goes, thank you, and he's talking a little bit fast, right? Thank you for bringing us all together as a family. What? Let that sink in. I hear it immediately. My eyebrows raised so far they go back to create a longer neck hairline. My eyes are like, what? I'm just looking straight down, right? I'm like, whoa. And he pauses, which means I know he knows that I know he knows that what he said, right? And he goes, and he just finishes praying, right? I'm like a mint. We're already family. This is great. So then, you know, he gets to a certain point of the conversation, and he's like, all right, I want to talk with, you know, Caden here alone. So the ladies go out, and they go for a little walk, sitting across the table from him. And you know, we're having some conversation. He's asking me some questions. None of them are particularly great, because I'm a stupid teenager and I don't know anything, right? It's like, what do you want to do with your life? Live? With your daughter? Does that count? I don't know. That's not all I can think about right now. I don't know. And so I'm asking these questions as best I can. You know, I work at a feed store or whatever. I got a job though. I'm still living with my parents at the time, right? And I'm asking to court his daughter. Now, like I told you in the past, you're paying attention to the timeline. She's 2 years older than me, right? So I still live at home. I'm working this really dead-end job, but I'm like, I want to court your daughter. And he goes, well, here's what I'm going to tell you, Caden. You're only 17. I'd like you to graduate high school first and move out on your own, right? And I'm like, fine. Picky much? Jeez. Whatever. I'll move out. I'll grow up, right? Whatever you want me to do. Golly, I just figured she'd move in with mom. I don't know, like, whatever. So then I go, but like, this is why I tell you all this, right? So I go back the next day to my pastor's time, Pastor Ray Bowell. Some of you might know him, right? Love the guy. He's a great man of God. Sit down across from him. He's like, how'd it go? I'm like, yeah, let me tell you how it went. I went in. Talked to him, bada bing, bada boom. He accidentally said family, hilarious. I go in, and I'm like, he said, I'm only 17, we need to wait a year, you know, and I need to move out and get some stuff figured out before he goes, pastor stuff. Listen, you're only 17. What? Yeah. He goes, I never would have told you to go talk to him if I knew you were only 17. And I'm like, carry the 7, like what in the world, man? How'd you not do the math that I'm only 17? He's like, whoa, that was gutsy. And I'm like, yesterday, you were the one filling me with courage, and now today you're like, that was a mistake. Anyway. So, you know, and there's a little bunch of awkward stuff. And it's crazy. Courtship is like the worst experience of your entire life because, like, you're like trying to grow and trying to like learn. You're like trying to like find out this is the person for you. And but I agree with courtship. I mean, wholeheartedly, right? I believe that it means getting to know one another with the intent of marriage. You're not messing around. You're not just having fun. And then you're following those biblical principles, right? It is good for a man not to touch a woman, all right? You're keeping your distance. You're getting to know each other with the intent of marriage. All right, now, because the lightning bolts, just like the fluttery little feelings you feel when you're holding, when you just like touch hands on accident for the first time. Like, ah! And then I have seen these men hold on to the hands of these fork-tongued, split-hooved hell women, right? Demons from the dark abyss, all the way to the altar. And you're like, if you would have not had lightning bolts going off in your head, you never would have married that woman, you poor, unfortunate soul. That's the funny way of me telling you that the biblical principles are true. Keep your dirty, rotten hands to yourself. Not because I'm mean, not because I'm evil, not because I just want to like be like, haha, you don't get to have any fun. Because I don't want you to marry someone who's terrible.
Yeah.
And absolutely terrible.
Thank you.
I've watched it happen over and over and over again. And I'm like, she's not the one. Oh, I just love her. What do you love about her? I don't know. I feel things when she's around me. Yes. Demonic presence. You feel. Her name is Legion, for she is many. I don't know. Not just because she's big, but because like there's all these different things. Anyways, I did not intend to get involved. And I'm not 100% sure how it fit in. Oh, I was gonna tell you. My parents, her parents were pretty clever. So in the middle of this, obviously we had these rules or whatever, don't like spend any time alone together because, duh, right? How stupid you gotta be. Anyways, so don't spend any time alone together, right? That was like a hard, fast rule. There always has to be a chaperone. Always has someone around. Then we go dip netting, right? Some of you talk about dip netting, right? You've been dip netting. And you've been dip netting in my neck of the woods at the in the Kenai River, yeah.
Yeah.
Go in. We went dip netting. We got all the licensing together. We caught just a billion fish out of the river. It was a great day. It was awesome. And then we set up, because like now it's like almost midnight. You got to clean all these stupid things. And they set up the whole thing, and you're cleaning these fish, and then her parents are like, all right, great, you guys are good. We're going to bed. And I should have put my foot down and been like, no, I will not be tempted with evil. I'm going home too. Good luck, Allie. And then left her with all those fish. I should have done that. But I was like, no, I'm a man. I'm going to clean these fish. I'm going to show her who's boss. First of all, she's better at everything that's technical than me, okay? We rode these four-wheelers around, right? She grew up with four-wheelers. I've only known four-wheelers my adult life. I'm not terrible on them because you just let the stupid thing do its own work, right? I'm going through, and I'm like getting stuck on it. I'm looking back, make sure she's okay. She's jumping trees while holding a full palm of a baby in their hand. Wow, man, no joke. I was like getting stuck right. She's like, and she's put the baby down, and she's locked in. She's amazing on this stuff. So she's flaying fish left and right. She's killing it, right? I'm just mangling these things, right? You know how it is, right? Like, you're working, she's standing here, I'm standing here. The Holy Spirit between us, right? And we're cooking, we're cutting. She's putting stuff in the trash can, and I'm like, where's your I'm putting stuff in the trash can. Okay, but like fish 10, what starts happening? You start yeeting these puppies, right? Boom, please, trash can, I don't care. Boom, boom, smack right in the face. Just work, right? We gotta get through this. Now, 3 o'clock in the morning, we clean these 5,000 fish or whatever it is, right? I think God was miraculously giving us more as some form of punishment, right? Like, just reach in. The bucket never ends. Where's the bread and the butter in a lordly dish, right? Well, it's done. Look at these things. Anyways. You just throw those things. That does apply to my message. Hold on. All right? Turn to 2 Samuel 20. 2 Samuel 20. This is another one of my favorite stories. I'm trying to give you a few stories you might never have heard preached on before. You maybe have heard preached on Barack before. I don't know if I ever remember, but I don't remember much because I was a stupid teenager just like you. This is one I don't think I ever heard preached on. In fact, I mentioned it to another preacher the other day, and he goes, pretty sure you made that story up. I did not make that story up. Book, chapter, and verse, buddy. Let's look it up. This is one of my favorite stories. We're going to go back a little bit, though, to give some context to show how petty human beings can be. All right? What? Now, I don't remember how far I want to go back to. Oh, let's go to verse 41 of chapter 19. Right? Go to chapter 19, verse 41. And behold, all the men of Israel came to the king and said unto the king, Why have our brethren the men? Why have our brethren the men of Judah stolen thee away and have brought the king and his household? And brought the king his household and all David's men with him over Jordan. And all the men of Judah answered the men of Israel, Because the king is near of kin to us, wherefore they be ye angry for this matter. Have we eaten at all of the king's cost, or hath he given us any gift? And the men of Israel answered the men of Judah and said, We have 10 parts of the king, and we have also more right in David than ye. Why then did ye despise us, that our advice should not be first had in bringing back our king? And the words of the men of Judah were fiercer than the words of the men of Israel. Susan! Come on, let's go! Susan? Becky, tell Susan to come over here. Becky goes, No, Becky's coming to my house for this Sunday afternoon, not yours. Excuse me? Susan always comes over to my house Sunday afternoon. She's my best friend. Oh, she's my BF, best friend forever. No, Becky. She's coming with me. No, Susan's staying here. No, she's my best friend. No, she's my best friend. That's it. I'm burning your locker to the ground. Okay? King David's been going through a rough time. Absalom just died. This crazy dude we're going to talk about more named Joab got him out of this funk. I don't know where. I'm sorry. Some of you with more biblical insight than me might be able to figure out Joab. I got no idea. I have a theory that he was twin brothers. And they both went by Joab, and that they swapped out every day. Because that brother was all over the place. Schizophrenia at least. And poor David's like going through some stuff. There's like a little bit of an uprising, there's not an uprising. They're like, hey, why don't you come with us, dude? Like, let's go over here. Let's get you squared away, get everything together. And the other half of Israel's like, don't take our king. He's our king. We love him. And they're like, well, dude, we're just like, you know, like, we're over here. We're over here. Like, we didn't take him away. Like, we're just going to take him over here. Besides, he's our friend. No, he's my friend. Okay, that's the setting. 2 bickering girls.
Yep.
1 BFF. Now let's go in to the first verse of chapter 20. And there happened to be there a man of Belial. Okay, now look at how the Bible words it. There happened to be a man there of Belial. He doesn't get a name. He's not anything of any significance. I think even God was taken aback by this. Keep reading. Whose name was Sheba. The son, oh, that's it. He's got a name. It's the other guy. Okay, sorry. We're not going to give him a name. Sorry. The son of Betri, a Benjamite, and he blew a trumpet and said, We have no part in David, neither have we inheritance in the son of Jesse, every man to his tents, O Israel. Now, we all know that person. We just sees an opportunity. It's like, you know, like I can't whistle at all, but like they're just like, hey! Let's kill him, right? Like there's always that guy, right? Like, you know, you can't get into Best Buy, they don't want to sell you a PS5, they're locking the doors, like, you got to order online. One guy's like, burn it to the ground, right? There's always that one guy, right? This poor fella here, right? What was his name again? Sheba. Sheba blows a trumpet in the middle of this bickering over this, you know, hey, no, we want the king, we want the king, we want the king. We hate you, David. You're no longer our friend anymore. Who's with me? And everyone goes, yeah, we hate you, David. You're the worst. How dare you go with them? You were our friend. And they run away. Now watch this. Every man to his tent, so Israel, verse 2. So every man of Israel went up from after David and followed Sheba, the son of Betri. This guy's nobody. But now he's rolling. Right? He blew his trumpet. He's like, we hate David. Everybody follow me. And they all start following. He's like, wow. My mom said I would do cool things. She was right. I'm leading a revolt. Yesterday, worked at Subway. Today, king of a nation. Whoa! Out of nowhere. But the men of Judah clave unto their king from Jordan ever to Jerusalem, right? Because they just won the battle. So they're like, I told you you're ha! We're sticking with you, king. I'm sure the king's sitting there like, you idiots. And David came to his house at Jerusalem. And the king took the 10 women of his concubines whom he had left to keep the house, put them inward, and fed them, but went not in unto them, so they were shut up unto the day of their death, living in the widowhood. Whole another story. Don't got time to get into it. There's a lot going on there. I read it just the other day. I was listening to it while I was working on yard work, and I stopped and I was like, roll that thing back. And I listened to like 3 chapters again. Still not sure what's going on, right? Verse 4. Then said the king to Amasa, assemble me the men of Judah within 3 days, and be thou here present. So Amasa went to assemble the men of Judah, but he tarried longer than the set time which he had appointed him. And David said to Abishai, now shall Sheba the son of Bichri do us more harm than did Absalom. Take thou the Lord's servant, and pursue after him, lest he get in fenced cities and escape us. And there went out after him Joab's men, and the Cherethites, and the Pelethites, and all the mighty men, and they went out of Jerusalem to pursue after Sheba the son of Bichri. Now, I'll paint you this picture, okay? Let's see. Who was the first guy that got sent out? Amasa, right? Amasa, okay? This guy, way back, was put in charge of Absalom's army. And Absalom was like a super handsome guy or whatever. And Joab kind of helped him out a little bit. And Joab was like, oh, dude, I'll get you, right? But let me give you more context than that, right? Let me just give you a little more context than that. Joab, crazy Joab. Just, few screws loose, Joab. Joab's at his house. Absalom is hanging out in town, still kind of at odds with his dad a little bit. Wants Joab, again, little girl stuff. Can you go tell Susan that I'm not as mad at her as I thought I was, right? Why don't you go tell Susan? I don't want to tell Susan. Becky, go talk to Susan. She's not going to listen to me. She hates me. Go talk, Becky, go talk to Susan. Okay, that's what Absalom's trying to do. So Absalom goes, hey Joab, or not Absalom, Absalom's trying to do that. He goes, hey Joab, go get Joab, come here, because I'm going to have Joab go talk to David. Right? My father. And Joab, of course, like any grown man would do, be like, I'm not doing that. Like, go talk to him yourself. So he sends another messenger. Go tell Joab, I want you to come here so I can send him to go talk to my dad. You know how it is. If your friend goes talk to your dad, it's way better than if you go talk to your dad, right? Because your dad likes your friends. He doesn't like you, right? It's the same thing I'm going through. So then, about like the 3rd time, Joab doesn't answer him. So what? Just tell me. What was a normal, rational person do? What does Absalom do?
Just do it anyways.
He's doing it even though as much. Someone mentioned it.
Burns
Burns his field to the ground. Right? All right, guys. Heads in, guys. Joab, I'm pretty sure, has blocked me. He's not responding to my phone calls, TikToks, Snapchats, whatever they are. Go light his fields on fire. So they run, they burn his fields to the ground, and then Joab just comes over all cool like, boss move, bro. Seriously. I'd have never done that. You're legit. What's your message? I'll do it. And so he does. He takes the message. So later on, with all that history, Absalom chooses who's in charge. And he chooses this guy, Amasa, who was some guy. He had a name. I'm sure it was some political advantage to Absalom. But Joab, it says specifically in the verse where he chose Amasa, he goes, it says in there, and not Joab. And that means something. And you're like, doesn't mean things, it means a lot. It meant a lot to Joab. You hold on, right? So Joab recognized, whoa, this guy. So, of course, Absalom ends up dead. How does Absalom get killed? He's hung in a tree. Again, that story cracks me up too. Going through these real fast, right? So then David sends out Joab and a bunch of his guys. And David goes, I got one rule. Don't kill Absalom, right? So then Joab, a couple of those guys go out. One of Joab's guys comes around, sees Absalom hanging from the tree, right? Just sitting there dangling from his hair, right? Long story. He runs up to Joab and goes, Joab, I just saw Absalom. He's hanging from a tree. And Joab goes, did you kill him? And the guy goes, no. David literally just told us we're not allowed to kill him. And literally in that verse, he goes, I can't even be around you right now. Get out of my sight. How dare you, not just straight up kill that guy? That should be a red flag that the wrong person's in charge. Did you murder that guy who was innocent and we were told not to kill? No, I didn't do it. It's against the law. Bruh. Get out of here. Dude, what are we doing if we're not murdering people? Jeez Louise. So he goes and does what Joab does, and he kills him himself. Just slaughters Absalom, gets the job done. Whatever Joab's doing, which I don't think Joab knows, he does it really well. He's killing who he wants to kill. So he kills Absalom, he does all this stuff. This guy is nuts. And then And then I want you to see one more thing, right? So, we're going to read those verses again. Verse 4. Then said the king to Amasa, assemble me the men of Judah within 3 days, and be thou here present. So Amasa went to assemble the men of Judah, but he tarried longer than he had set time which he had appointed him. And David said to Abishai, now shall Sheba the son of Bichri do more harm than did Absalom. Take thou thy Lord's servant, pursue after him, lest he fence cities and escape us. And there went out after him Joab's men, and the other people, and all the mighty men, and they went out of Jerusalem to pursue after Sheba the son of Bichri. There you go. When they were at the great stone, which is in Gibeon, Amasa went before them, and Joab's garment that he had put on was girded unto him, and upon it a girdle with a sword fastened upon his loins, in the sheath thereof, and as he went forth it fell out. And Joab said to Amasa, art thou in health, my brother? And Joab took Amasa by the beard with the right hand to kiss him, but Amasa took no heed to the sword that was in Joab's hand. So he smote him therewith in the fifth rib, shed out his bowels to the ground, struck him not again, and he died. So Joab and Abishai his brother pursued after Sheba the son of Bichri. Now, Joab comes up, meets up with I'm gonna get the names all mixed up again because there's 2 A names, and I'm slow. Homeschool. Amasa, right? And he goes and he meets up with Amasa. Amasa's just rolling around the corner and is like, woo! Am I late? Right? I had 3 days. It's like the 4th or 5th day. I'm not there. How are you guys doing? And then Joab's like, oh, we're not doing bad. And then I think Joab purposely, I can't really, drops his sheath and his sword kind of fall out. Yeah. Which, I don't know if that was some sign of oh, we're all cool, man, here, my sword's in the ground. Or if it was just some power play. Or if it just happened on accident. And that's just what Amasa saw. But Amasa walks up to him and thinks, no ill will, right? We're doing pretty good. Judge walks up like, hey, man, he says, how's your health? That's suspicious. Hey, I noticed you're not dead. Why'd you mention that? Because you are now, right? And it says he doesn't stab him again because Joab's been killing for a while, right? He stabbed. Why does it matter that he stabbed him on the 5th rib? I think it matters because that's where Joab was aiming and he hit it, right? Oh, he grabs his beard to give him a kiss. Good holy kiss. Jake's little beard-to-beard action, nothing weird, right? Just rub your beards together a little bit. Some old school stuff, right? You know what, Anthony? No, I'm just kidding. You gotta be worried. You get 2 guys like us in a room, and if we can get a laugh, we will get in trouble. Go through, stabs him in the 5th rib, drops him dead, walks away, doesn't do anything else. Just goes back. Now, this energy that you're about to see here resonates amongst this group, posse, entourage, whoever said entourage earlier, right? Because he walks back, doesn't say anything. Presumably gets back on his horse, puts the sword on, puts the sheath on, just sits there. Now, look at this. All right? Verse 11. And one of Joab's men stood by him and said, he that favoreth Joab, and he that is for David, let him go after Joab. Okay? So one guy looks up and goes, in this tense silence, who's okay with what Joab just did? And they all don't say anything. Who wants to keep doing what David told us to do? And they all don't say anything. Now we go on to the next verse here, okay? Just to make sure that you know what they're hearing right now. Verse 12, and Amasa wallowed in blood in the midst of the highway. And when the man saw that all the people stood still, the same man who asked those questions, he removed Amasa out of the highway into the field, put a little cloth upon him, when he saw that everyone that came by him stood still. So again, this courageous dude, right? They all went back and goes, who's okay with what Joab just did? Who wants to keep going after who David told us to go after? Dead silence. Get back on the horse. And they go. Because you're not going to be that one guy when Joab's still there who was like, yeesh. And what was that noise? He said, yeah, good shot. They weren't saying anything. How'd the one guy get the courage to be like, I don't even know how he spoke. I'd have just started dragging the body to the side. All right. There was verse 13. When he was removed out of the highway, all the people went on after Joab to pursue after Sheba, the son of Bichri. And he went through all the tribes of Israel unto Abel and to Beth-maachah and all the Beerites, and they were gathered together and went also after him. And they came and besieged him in Abel of Beth-maachah, and they cast up a bank against the city, and it stood in the trench. And all the people that were with Joab battered the wall to throw it down. All right, someone give me their buff, their what do you call it? Bandana. Who's got a bandana handy?
Handkerchief.
Here we go. Okay. Yeah, I like yellow. That's good. That's good. Now, they find him. Okay? And they find him. He's in there. As far as I can tell, they don't ask any questions. They've eliminated all the other opportunities, and they're like, he's in there. Abel. The town of Abel. Bad guy in there. And again, I bet you Joab's guys being very quiet. They're doing whatever they're told. Joab's like, that's it. Encompass it. Build trenches. Put up barricades. Start probably burning fields. And start busting that door down. We are getting that guy, right? That's what happens. They don't ask. They just show up. And they're like, he's in that wall. David said, get him before he gets to a wall. We've already messed up. Wall's coming down. We're going. Now look at this, guys. Look at this. Verse 16. Then cried a wise woman out of the city, Hear, hear. Say, I pray you, unto Joab, come near hither, that I may speak with thee. The little old lady, some wise woman, looks over the wall and goes, Hey! Hey! Here, here! Which one of you is Joab? Probably that same guy was like, what, you got blood all over? Nice beard? Go in. Hey! Joab, come here! Come here, come here. Come here, come here. She waddles down off the wall. One step at a time. We see another side of Joab. Again, I don't know who this Joab guy is. We don't. Look at this. And when he had come near unto her, verse 17, the woman said, Art thou Joab? Making sure. And he answered, I am he. Then she said to him, Hear thee the words of thy handmaid. And he answered, I do hear. Right? You know? Hey. Are you listening? Are you going to listen to what I have to say? I noticed you encompassed my town. You were trying to break down my door. I live here. Are you going to listen to what I have to say? And he goes, yes, ma'am. Verse 18, then she spake, saying, They were wont to speak in old times, saying, They shall surely ask counsel at Abel. And so they ended the matter. Back in my day, we used to talk around here. You know, this used to be a place where men came and they said, Hey, I'm your neighbor. You know, I got a few questions for you. They didn't just come busting down our door. And they ended the matter. Good job. Yes, ma'am. We got a little I just, you know, she's looking at him like we've ended this. You were wrong. I was right. You should have knocked first. And not with the big stick. You should have said hello. Now she goes on. Because she's doing whatever she wants to do at this point. Verse 19. I am one of them that are peaceable and faithful in Israel. You know, there used to be good people. Yeah. I'm one of those ones. I'm not saying you're not one of those ones, Joab. I'm just saying that back in my day. Thou seekest to destroy a city and a mother in Israel. I am someone's mother. I am probably someone's grandmother. And I am a mother of Israel. So, somewhere down the family tree, you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me. You come try to take me out of this world, I put you in this world. I am a mother in Israel. Right? She's laying it on thick. All right? Why wilt thou swallow up the inheritance of the Lord? She she brings God into that. Really right. Just at the last minute, just in case she's just hitting all her points, right? You notice that I forgot. Joab, look at me. Don't be looking around. Joab, is this your city? Or is this God's city? It's God's city. Then why do you treat it like it's trash, Joab? Ooh. 21. All right. No.
20.
Oh, 20. Sorry. Oh, yeah. Okay, look, read this. Okay? Verse 20. And Joab answered and said, far be it from me that I should swallow up or destroy. I think he stuttered. I think the Bible straight up put his stutter in there. Far be it from me, I did not swallow up and destroy. I'm so sorry, that's not what I came to do. All right. I'm going to take you back out of this. Like, droop, the camera pans back, right? And some guy over here, for those who know what it is, he's Jim in the camera, right? You know what Jim in the camera is? You got these shows that are like documentary style ones. They're supposed to be recording things, and they're supposed to be interacting as if no one can see them. And then something happens, and one of the guys looks at the camera like, yeah. You know, like, I have never done that. One guy in the back's like, that guy. That guy, from a few verses ago, I know he jimmed the camera in that moment. I'm not here to swallow up and destroy. As Abatha's blood is dripping off of him, he's like, who is this guy? He just straight up murdered a dude 2 seconds ago. But now his grandma's got him whipped. If we weren't scared of him, we'd make jokes about it. But we're probably not, all right? Again, I'm not here to swallow up and destroy. That's not my kind of, no. Verse 21. The matter is not so. But a man of Mount Ephraim, Sheba, the son of Bichri, by name, works at Subway, you might know him, hath lifted up his hand against the king, even against David, right? He's trying his best to do what she just did. Like, you know, our king. She's like, yes, I'm aware of our king. Keep moving, right? Deliver him only, and I will depart from the city. And the woman said unto Joab, look at me right now, don't you dare read that. Don't you dare read that. Don't you dare. You old people, you just read it. You're bad at instruction.
I read it.
All right. She said there. All right, just tell me what you got, son. I'm so sorry. They're not going to kill you. They're going to destroy your stuff. Please don't tell my mama. You probably know my mama. All your mama. Please. I'm so sorry. Tell her I've been up for my usual killing and maiming, but not ladies, only men. Like she taught me, right? I'm not here to swallow up names, but there's a dude named Sheba. I know, funny name for him. But anyways, there's a dude named Sheba. He's doing some stuff against the king. He ran into your city. He's in there. If you just send me Sheba, I'll get out of here, and no one's got to know that I almost did this to him. Okay? And so she very politely says, no problem. I'll chop his head off and throw it over the wall. and then Joe, and I'm sure Joab was like, what? And she walks away. She's done with the conversation. She wheelchairs her way back to the city, one step at a time, and then Joab goes back with his dudes in the trenches. And I'm sure he's talking about that one guy. I'm sure they were friends. I know this is the only guy who dare talk to Joab. The only guy who knows Joab's side of things. Probably the other twin brothers with the big beard on. Probably both Joab's in there. And, what happened? Why was that old lady yelling at you? I don't know, but I think she knows her mom. And she told me that I can't just destroy them for no reason. And that last guy should have told me that. I don't know what I made her for. Like, yeah, okay. And I told her that all we need is, Sheba. That's what we're here to do. What'd she say? She's going to throw his head over the wall. And he goes, oh, Joab! You told that little lady to do that? Sick, dude. Joab's like, whoa! No! It was her idea! She told me she was going to do that. Yeah, she told you she was going to do that. That little nice old lady. Wise woman. All right. All right. Verse 22. Then the woman went unto all the people in her wisdom, and they cut off the head of Sheba, the son of Bichri, and cast it out to Joab. And he blew a trumpet, and they retired from the city, every man to his tent. And Joab returned to Jerusalem unto the king. She got it done. She went in. Here's how I think. This lady. I think she went into the council. All right, I talked with him. Because none of you idiots thought to talk to him. You just sat there and were like, it's war! How many of you ever watched that movie Brave? Yeah, it's it's a fairly clean movie. There's a moment in there where there's some kid walks in, like, there's a bear in the castle, and all the dudes are like, there's a bear in the castle, right? And they just take off running like we've been waiting for this our whole life. I'm sure that's what happened. All the dudes were like, bro, what you doing? You gonna kill us? Oh, no, we're gonna kill you. They're preparing for war. And this poor old lady's like, come here, Joel. No one's dying today. Oh, except for, yeah, he could die. Yeah, that's fine. And she wheels in, and she goes, hey guys, you dumb idiots, city council or government types, right? Talk with them. And they want that guy over there. Yeah, that guy hiding in that, with the fake mustache on and the barrel. Yeah. And he just ran in here Mach 10 right before they showed up. Yeah, that guy who's been talking about how he's leading revolt against David. Probably should have seen this coming. Anyways, he's over there. They asked that we cut his head off and throw it over the wall. And they're like, oh, that's super gross. She's like, yeah, weird. Why did they ask that? Get me my big knife, boy. I think she played both sides of that coin. And they chop the head off, right? And they throw it over the wall. And it makes you wonder, what they do with the rest of them. These are weird people. Weird people.
Oh no.
Now, what did they call this woman? What was her descriptive term that they used?
Wise.
Wise woman. She saw that the army of God, the forces of God, were coming at her, and she was the only one who didn't immediately put up her defenses against it. She was smart enough to sit there and ask, excuse me, over here, why in the world are you attacking me? We're on the same side. They go, well, there's something in your camp I don't want there. Someone broke in who's not supposed to be there. An enemy of our king is inside your walls. So she said, in all her wisdom, well, we're going to have to go get his side of the story. We're going to go put him behind the city council. We're going to have to ask him all these questions. We're going to jury up his peers, but they have to be half from his tribe and half from our tribe. And our judge is only here every other Tuesday. And we use a moon cycle, so we don't even have Tuesdays. It's been a real debacle. I'm not even sure. And then, well, he's been hanging out for 2 days, and he, I know that you want to attack us. I know that you want him. And I know he did David. But he just automatically started making sandwiches, and he's like a pro. Like, he can make a sandwich like you never believe. He's too good at what he does for us to give him over to him. We're gonna fight you for him. We like him. She looked at it and she said, okay, you're on my side, yet you have a reason to destroy this city that I'm in. That's no good. I'm gonna take your word for it, and he's gone. And then she goes, we're not going to, well, you know what, we'll take care of this internally. We'll go put him 6 feet under. You don't have to worry about it. You know why she didn't say that? Because Joab would have looked at her and been like, I need blood. Not to give you too much of an look into my personal life, but if I can't prove that he's dead, he ain't dead. I don't want you to bury him. I want to do the killing. That's what he asked for initially. He said, oh, let me take care of it. And she goes, no, fine. I agree. I need to get rid of him. He's not supposed to be here. We're on the same side. He's the enemy against our king. We got to get rid of him. But we're not, you know what? I'll just chuck that head right over the wall. I will. I'm not even going to fight you on it. You know what? It'll be my idea. I'm going to kill him. I'm going to throw it over the wall. I want you to turn to Galatians chapter 6. Galatians chapter 6. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, Ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Christ. It tells us later in the scriptures, confess your sins one to another. Confess your faults one to another. Hey, if you keep reading here, there's a second part I want to focus on. For if a man think himself to be something when he is nothing, he deceiveth himself. But let every man prove his own work, and then shall he have rejoicing in himself alone, and not in another. For every man shall bear his own burden. Dr. Tom Suter, I really appreciate what he does. He has real technical insight. He's a real nerd. You need cool guys. You're welcome. You need nerds to both expound upon the scriptures so that you can have a fun story to tell when you get back home from camp, and then you can get some actual doctrine to use in your life. Right? You need both of us. And he goes through, and he was talking about this, and he was expounding upon this area of scripture, and he said, it tells us back to back that you are responsible to bear one another's burdens. And then 4 verses later it says, you are responsible to bear your own burden all by yourself. So which one's right? Yes. You have an obligation to take care of your own business. No one is going to kill the things in your life that are not supposed to be there, but you. If your mama could walk into your life and take out those things that she doesn't know is there, she would do it. Some of you have enemies of God in your camp. Some of you have things that oppose the Lord inside your camp. And you guys are on the same side. You should find it suspicious that the people of God are approaching you, that the forces of God are approaching you, looking you in the eye and saying, we're about to come in there and chastise you for this. A father who loves his son chastises his son. I've taken you guys on a bit of a journey so far. That first point, if you can get that, it'll help you in every area of your life. You need to quit lying to yourself about why you do, what you do, and the consequences of what you do. If you can recognize that you are your biggest hurdle to realizing you need help, you will get help. Hey, I'm done trying to figure it out. I'm ready to learn about it. I'm done with that. And if it can happen to Saul, it can happen to me. And then that second point, just start. You have to pick a moment in your life, and hopefully some of you did that last night, where you said, you know what? I want to be the one who stands, no matter who else stands. I will do it alone. I'll do it all by myself. I will fight this fight. And I've been putting it off for years, but I'm starting today. All right. And here's the problem. Some of you want to fight this fight for the cause of Christ. And you have the enemy living in your camp. You have things inside those walls that I cannot see. Those things that enter through the same gates that this guy entered in. And that's how they knew he was there. Nehemiah just talked about those walls, building those walls, constructing these things, and they have those various gates. All those gates have a purpose. And there were those gates that were specifically for the guys running away from God. It was the dung gates, right? No. There was gates that were for people entering in. And when they would come through that gate, there was some guy there with a notebook going, I don't recognize you. Where are you from, bud? Well, I was going for a jog. You know how people jog nowadays, right? Yeah, there's no other city like 100 miles away, but you're not going for a jog. What are you doing here? Well, my name's Sheba. I work at Subway. I blew a trumpet and said, hey, everybody, we should kill David and take his throne. And they all said yes. Craziest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Had no idea. I guess I'm leading a revolt. I guess I'm going to take over the kingdom. I guess I'm your new king. But there's some guys who don't like that. I would like to come in because the real king is coming and he's going to try to kill me. Please don't let him kill me. Please don't let him kill me. Please don't let him kill me. They said, that's a very weird story. I think you might use the same druggist as that guy back there. Right? Why don't you come in and we'll get you settled. We'll try to figure out what's going on. But they knew he was there. Things can only come into the city so many different ways. And they monitor all of them. Only a stupid nation would not protect those walls and monitor those people coming into them. I don't care where you stand on that. It worked back there. It would work for us anyways. No, all right. But they have those gates on purpose. Some of you have no gate on your gates. No door, no lock. Some of you over the last 3, 4, 5 years have done things, watched things, seen things, listened to things that you never thought you would have been capable of doing. And they're in there now. And they've taken root. And they've started to influence those pieces of you that are very susceptible. Hey, why did it matter that they got him out of the city? Because if this city turns on David, the next city might turn on David, and the next city might turn on David. Right. Abel might raise up a great army against David, just because they let something through the gate that shouldn't have been there.
Right, that's good.
Hey, things get through the gate. Sometimes, ladies, you see things you never wanted to see. Hey, sometimes you have hurt in your lives that cause a vacuum. And you're not getting what you need from the people you need it from. And some charlatan, some worker of iniquity comes in and gives you the compassion, the desire, and the meaning that you're looking for in your life that should be there for the people that love you. But his intent is not good.
Right.
He is an enemy of your king. He wants to derail, dethrone, and destroy the works of God. And you've let him in. Some of you, it's that still small voice. He's just so, he runs such an effective podcast. He runs such an effective YouTube channel. He runs such an effective, the writing's so good on that show. If you just watched it a few times, you'd know how intriguing it was. There's a few things in there that shouldn't be there. Hey, there's only so many gates to let stuff in, and some of you haven't controlled that gate for years.
Come on now.
And it's living there, it's dwelling there. And you fell on your face yesterday saying, God, I want to start this fight. And God was looking at you and saying, that's interesting. Because you got some stuff in there I got to get out. Hey, you got some stuff in there that you can't start fighting for me until you got the traitors out of your city.
Good.
You got to relinquish those things. Kill them.
That's right.
And I mean kill them. Kill them.
Yeah.
Finish them. 100%. Now, here's the thing too. And here's where I know a lot of teenagers don't make it outside the bounds of this camp with the victories that they started to fight here. Is because they want to take care of it themselves. Hey, son, I know pornography is a problem. I'm a man, you're a man. Hey, I tell my teenagers all the time, you're not my teenagers. I tell my teenagers all the time. I'll sit them down, all my boys, I sit them down and say, hey man, you've been looking at things you shouldn't be looking at? I'm like, no. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna, I know that's a lie. I know you know it's a lie. So I'm going to treat you like someone I know is hurting right now. Someone who's going through things. Someone who has an enemy in their gate that wants to destroy every part of their life and destroy their future. Destroy their relationship with the one person God has set aside for them. Destroy their relationship with every woman they will ever talk to for the rest of their life. Destroy their relationship with every coworker and every passing person. It is something that God wants, that Satan wants to use to control every part of your life. And I know you struggle with it. Because it's been easy. It's easier now than it's ever been.
Right.
And here's the problem. For years now, you've said to yourself, I'm done. Putting this away. Brother Dave preached on it. Brother Nehemiah preached on it. Brother Anthony preached on it. Everyone has preached on it. And I can't have it here anymore. It's going to destroy me. So I'm just going to quietly tuck it aside and bury it within the wall. Right where I can get it if I need to. Hey, God's not stupid.
That's right.
Hey, Joab wasn't stupid.
Yeah.
Joab looked at it and said, hey, unless I can see that that thing's dead, it's not dead. And if you're not willing to kill it in a way where we can see it's dead, it's not dead.
Right.
I sat with dozens of teenagers as I grew up who dealt with problems, fell on their face at camp and said, I will never do that again. I will get rid of those friends. I will get rid of that boyfriend. I will get rid of that girlfriend. I will get rid of that thing. I will never watch that again. I'll never listen to that again. I'll never talk to those people. I'll never smoke that again. I'll never drink that again. I'm putting these things away and I'm never going to touch them again. But I am not going to tell anyone that I ever did those things. And they walked in and they walked that fight alone. And they had no one to call when they were struggling.
Come on.
And they had no one to turn to. And they had no one praying for them because, I mean, they were praying to help them, but they didn't know. Look at this. Brethren, if a man be overtaken in a fault, ye which are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering thyself, lest thou also be tempted. So just assume everyone's in a fault and just help every single one of them, but don't ever talk about anything personal. I think that would be the big motto on the back of every independent fundamental Baptist wall right now. Bear ye one another's burdens, but don't burden me with yours. And keep yours a secret. Hey, if you want to start fighting this fight, ladies, men, it's time to get serious about that sin that so easily besets you.
Yeah.
That you have tried over and over and over to get rid of.
Come on.
It's time to kill it. And it's time to throw that thing over the wall.
Yeah.
Hey, we've gotten away from the days, and I gotta admit, I've heard some things too, and when I was a teenager, my brain would process it, and it would seem weird and extreme and cultish, but the older I get, the more I understand those stories you hear of camps, where they would bring out all their stuff, and they would burn it in a huge pile. Hey, go get your music you snuck in, I know you snuck it. There's a CD player, that's how old I am. You got stuff on your phone, throw your phone in the fire, we'll get some pictures. And they're running the math. We just burned $100,000 worth of technology. Oh man, AT&T is gonna love us. Parents, not so much. There used to be a day where we used to bring the things that beset us. We used to go into our own lives, right here at camps like this, find those things that were in there that opposed God, and we brought them out and we made a spectacle of it. Why? Because we weren't scared to let everyone know, yeah, it made it through the gate, but by the grace of God, it's going back over the wall, buddy. No. I'm not just going to kill it. I'm going to chop its head off. I'm going to throw it over. Why? I want everyone to know it's dead. I don't want anyone to think that something like that can get back through this gate. How many of you know what the word able means? I didn't know. I cheated. I looked at my One of the definitions is ascent. Apt. I'm sure there was men later in the history of Israel where they said, they ran their little schemes. They were grifters. They would go around and they would walk into a city and they would steal and they would take stuff and they would be inconspicuous and they would sneak out in the middle of the night. Or they would come in and they would trick the people into doing something. And they would trick them into spending money on something they shouldn't be spending money on, and secretively, and then steal their money and then leave. And I'm sure as they talked about things, and they were like, the next to the stop is the town of Abel. Ascend. Yeah, I heard about a little bit of ascension in Abel. Then a quick descension. And then a strange splat in the middle of the thing. And there's a crazy lady there who chops the head off of criminals that she's never even met before. No trial, no nothing. You just look like a criminal. Some dude named Joab, who's a murderer himself, tells you he's a criminal. Heads are rolling, buddy. We're skipping Abel. I'm never going to that town as a criminal. Over the wall. And I think she did it. I think she had one of those, like, where they throw the barrel, right? Like, I think that she said there, like, she got out of her wheelchair and she's like, put the head right here. Thank you. Whoosh! Yes. First street. You don't mess with this town. Because this town takes care of business. Hey, a lot of the reasons why you are on that same journey that teenagers have been on for generations of, yes, I can have a problem. I admit that. I could be lying to myself. Yes, I want to start this fight. It's bigger than me. It's worth fighting. The only reason we're left here on this side of eternity is to fight for the cause of Christ. I'm going to get serious about it. I'm not going to wait till I'm 29. I'm not going to wait till I'm 40. I'm going to get serious about it right now at 15. We go, great. It's time to purge the camp and get ready to fight. Find those things that oppose God. Get rid of them. Go to your youth pastor and tell them that you need help with this because you've got an enemy in the camp and you want it gone. Make a spectacle of it. Bear ye one another's burdens. Let them know. Confess your faults one to another. Make no provision for the flesh. And then he goes home. He gets no phone calls. He gets no text messages. Kids he saw pouring their soul out on the altar of God after a message just like this. Walk up, sit down, and go, all right, God, me and you against the world, we got this. But I cannot let them know that I deal with this, I struggle with this. Because for some reason, Satan's convinced you that the evil you deal with, is worse than the evil that we dealt with when we were your age. Hey, that's why I took a wise old lady. She'd seen a thing or two. She'd seen a town who picked the wrong fight. She's probably seen a few uprisings in her day. She saw Absalom die. She saw the other guy die. She probably saw everything that happened with David and Saul. Saul's running around throwing spears at David. David's living in the woods. And she goes, this has got to end. How many more years did Israel have to not do the work of God because we're fighting amongst ourselves trying to end the same battles generation after generation after generation? No one gets any victory.
Right.
Because no one's taken a stand. No one's just stopped this thing in the root and said, we're going to actually do this thing the right way. That's it. Huck it over the wall, boys. This one's going. I think she heard that. She's like, why are you telling me? Oh, there's another rebellion? And that idiot sandwich artisan in there caused it? No. I've had too many of my boys die in these battles. I'm a mother in Israel. I've had generations of my sons and daughters killed and sold into captivity and have deplorable things done to them because the men who are in charge of these cities couldn't just finally say, I will submit to the will of God and get rid of the things that aren't supposed to be here and quit hiding these things that make me feel good because they're fun and I love them and I don't want anyone to know that there's evil in my camp. No more of that. Chop his head off, throw it over the wall. Let everyone know that this city stands with David. We are not the enemy of God. There's no reason to break down these walls and try to find the evil within. We're going to throw that evil out to you. Children, use what you have. I know what it feels like. I remember I was having a conversation about this exact subject with a young man. I'll give you the full circle of this. I was sitting down with him, and we were probably 13, 14 years old, talking about the addiction problem we had to watching things we shouldn't watch. And I told him, I was like, I'm done. I really don't want to do this anymore. I think my parents probably already know. They're not stupid. I'm only lying to myself. They can see it on my face. Why do the sheep bleat? They can see it in how I think, how I talk, how I walk. They know I'm looking at things I shouldn't look at. I think I'm just going to ask him for help. And that young man looked at me and said, at 13, he goes, I genuinely think that if I told my parents that I looked at that kind of stuff, they would disown me and they would send me away and they would never talk to me again. That is a lie from Satan.
Yes.
If you have parents that love you, they love you enough to help you get rid of the evil that's in your camp.
Right.
Fast forward probably about a solid 15 years later, I get a phone call. Right? Get a phone call. What's up, Mom? My mom called me 4 or 5, 12 times a day, right? Hi, Mom. Love you, Mom. Keep going, Mom. Nope, get to the point, Mom. Love you, Mom, right? What's going on? Hey, you remember Daniel? Of course I remember Daniel. We're up all, we know each other. Yeah, he's in the hospital. He OD'd on heroin. And it's not looking good. I don't think he's going to make it. No, Mom. Why are you calling me? Oh, because the only friend he has in his life is a guy he knew 13 years ago. Because every other friend he had in his life are the same idiots who got him hooked on that same heroin that has him in the hospital. So they're not going to go see him because they're as strung out as he is. So I, his childhood friend, drive 3 hours to go visit him in the hospital. And I go in and he's sitting there. And he's got this large sanitary pad that catches the drool and the little bits of chunks of vomit that come out of his mouth. And he talks in half sentences. And he can't control his hands anymore. And he's got a catheter put in because he has to pee in a bag because he can't get up to use the restroom. And I'm asking him, man, how did you get here? You know, same thing that you're debating with in your head right now. And there's just a few friends that my parents didn't care for. My pastor said I should hang out with them. But they're fun. They're more fun than my church friends. You know, I just watched a few things that were more fun than doing it the right way. And they said, you know, and then of course I got into a little bit of marijuana because it's just marijuana. It doesn't really hurt you all that bad. It doesn't really hurt you all that bad. I remember him saying that word for word. It's really not that bad of a thing. He could die any second. I had to wear a robe because they don't know what he's got. I had to be basically in a full no-contact suit to talk with this gentleman who's on the brink of death, sitting there going, it's really, they'll overplay how bad it is. But I had some marijuana, and then I sold it, and then I realized I could make more money selling heroin, but I didn't do it. Okay, great. All right, well then how do you go from there? Well, I talked with person after person after person who told me that it's the greatest thing you could ever do. And after years of being told that it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, I finally sat down and said, man, if it's that good, I gotta try it. And then one day, he got convinced that mixing that with another substance, I can't remember what it was the ultimate high. So I asked him the natural conclusion, right? He's sitting there, he's in the hospital, he's like, Caden, I'm never gonna do it again. I'm never gonna do it again. You tell all your teenagers, never, ever do this. So I asked him the question that I'm very curious for the answer of. Asking him, hey man, I'm by the grace of God, like I'm preached Sunday morning at the 8:30 service. He gave me the understanding to remove the snare of the devil off my neck at an early age.
Amen.
Nothing that I did. God, through the people around me and me, showed me a way to avoid that path. I said, hey, to someone who doesn't know, what's it like? What's it like? And I watched this man who can barely breathe and talk open his eyes for the first time in our entire conversation. It's the best thing you could ever imagine. Better than life itself. He smiled, he fell back asleep, and then we started our whole conversation over. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, yeah, see, that's the problem. Because anybody can sit there and say, hey, I'm never going to do that. I hate the way it makes me feel. I hate the way that it displeases my parents. I hate the way that I see it treat other people. I hate the way, I don't want these things in my life. Yeah, but how do they make you feel? Yeah, I love them more than life itself. That's someone who's running right back.
Yeah.
That's someone who says, you know what, I'm just going to bury this evil in the camp, and don't worry, it's going to be gone. Right? As long as I know it's still there. Hey, the difference between you making it and not making it is, are you going to take seriously the tools God has given you to make sure it works? He has given you a church. He has given you parents. He has given you godly friends. He's given you a youth pastor. He has given you, I mean, you have men around this room who have been down roads you can't even imagine, who would be more than willing to be your anchor. They would get up any time of day. They would drive any amount of distance if it meant you not taking that first needle in the arm.
Yep.
If it meant you not smoking that first little puff.
Yep.
If it meant you not holding her hand for the very first
Come on
time.
now.
Because that leads down a road that you can't come back from.
Yeah, right.
It matters.
Yes, sir.
It's time to get rid of these things for real. You say you want to be a soldier. You say you want to be a man. You say you want to be a woman of God. You want to be a Deborah who can lead the people, who can play her part, who can be someone of note. Yeah, let's start this thing. Good. Let's kill some things
Come
then.
on.
But let's not just kill them. Let's let everyone know, this is done. This is over, and I'm still human, and I can still mess up. But I think that me and Dave make a better team than me alone. I think me, Dave, and Anthony make a real good. I think me, Dave, Anthony, Nehemiah, I think the four of us could do anything together. And you can. It is built for you to bear ye one another's burdens.
Amen.
That is what you've been given the church for. But hey, kids, I know how it goes. Preach a message like this, you see people, eyes water. People feel things. People know that there's sin hidden in their camp that God is going to get out of there one way or the other. By either turning you over to the devil or by you throwing it over the wall. We can't even get you to step a few feet down and kneel because you're scared what your friends are going to think. Hey, that's what this altar is here for.
Amen.
There's nothing special about this altar. Hey, and I'm not against people dealing with their secret. I understand this. I don't want you to take anything that I'm about to say the wrong way. But there has been, in our modern Christian movement, a strong disassociation from this altar right here.
Yes.
Because this altar is a public admission of guilt. When I see someone fall on the altar, I don't think to myself, I knew they were a heathen. I knew they were evil. I knew they were wrong. I knew they struggled with that. I knew it. I say, there's someone who might last. There's a young person who might actually throw something over the wall. There's someone who might actually kill sin in their life and keep it out. Because if you're willing to walk this aisle in front of all your friends and fall on your face and say, Lord, I need help, that's step one. That walk from this altar to your youth pastor is a lot shorter, both physically and metaphorically, than from that chair to that youth pastor. And that's what Satan will have you think every single time. Kill it right here. No one needs to know. I'll go talk to him later. Again, I'm not trying to guilt trip you. I'm not trying to push you. I'm not trying to trick you into coming up here. What I'm saying is that there's a few of you in this room right now who the Holy Spirit's convicting you and saying, now's the time. This is real. Let's kill that sin. Let's throw that thing over the wall. Let's publicly say, this is over and Satan's not going to rule my life. I'm going to fight this fight. I'm going to fight it pure. I'm going to be a vessel of honor. You're the one I'm looking at. It's time for you to step up and make it real. You bow your heads, close your eyes, stand to your feet. Lord, thank you so much for this chance to preach to these people. Lord, I messed up so many times in my life, God, but by the grace that you've given me, you put people in my life who are willing to carry my burden with me. And you gave me the humility to fall on their neck and say, I am unworthy. Can you help me, God? And you are faithful to do what you say you will do. Lord, I pray that these teenagers would put into effect the principles in this word and make it real to them today. Throw that thing over the wall and say, God, it's never coming back to you. Because together we are strong.
As the piano plays softly, there's many young people, there's all kinds of room up here, teenager. There's room for you. You can find a spot up here. Someday it may be good for you to go to a counselor that you know loves you and say, hey, can we just talk? Let them know some things that you struggle with. And here's a promise I'll make to you. Anything you tell them, they struggle with it too.
That's right. Yeah.
Anything. Because we're all human. But chances are that counselor had someone that at some point in their life they put some confidence in and shared some things with, and somebody helped them and loved them. Would it be great if tonight we had some young people throw some stuff over a wall? You're not going to convince me that you want to get rid of that stuff you're looking at if you won't be willing to get rid of the devices that you're looking at it on.
Come on now.
I don't believe you. I believe that you feel convicted about it. But are you willing to go to your parents and say, hey, I don't need a phone that has access to everything this world has to offer. Give me an old flip phone that has text and cell service. That's all I need. Then maybe you're serious. But way too many of you make a decision and you bury it inside the wall so it's close enough so when that feeling goes away, the conviction goes away, it's right there where you can grab it again. It's so powerful. Some of you need to get a hold of mom and dad as soon as you can. Let them know. This is what I'm struggling with. I promise you, teenagers, they will only love you more. And I've had to go to my dad over the years and let him know, hey, here's what I'm struggling with. And you know what the devil told me? He's going to hate you. He'll be humiliated. He'll be ashamed of you. And every time that's happened, the devil was proven wrong, and my dad loved me more. It grew us closer together. It gave me an accountability partner, someone that loved me and prayed for me and cared for me. Some of you, that's the wall that you've put up between you and your parents. There's something that you struggle with, and you're not willing to go to them for help, for prayer, for guidance. In the back of your mind, you're always worried they're going to find out, or they're going to hate you, or whatever it is you're thinking. And that's put a wall up between you and your parents, and it's hindered your relationship with your parents, and you just can't be open and honest with them about anything anymore. We're in no hurry, the altar's still open. I wonder if there'll be some young people here tonight who will cut the heads off of some things in their life and throw it over the wall. You let some people, I'm not saying it's something you stand up and shout to the rooftops. I'm saying you go to some people that love you Let them know, here's my struggle. Here's where I'm hurt. Will you help me? Will you pray for me? Will you give me some guidance? They would love you, to help you, to love you, to encourage you, to pray for you. No hurry. No hurry. Let me ask you this, Caden. Would there be a young person here tonight who would say, "But the day of, I've sat through several messages this week already, and I do not know for sure my sins are forgiven. I don't know for sure I'm saved." I sang a song today, "Glory, Glory, Glory, Somebody Touched Me." There may have been a young person who stood today because, well, that's what everybody else is doing. I can't stay in my seat. There'll be a young person here tonight who will say, "Brother Dave, I don't know for sure I'm going to heaven, but I do know for sure I don't want to spend eternity in hell. I don't want my pride to take me to hell." There'll be a young person here. Say, "Brother Dave, that's me. Will you pray for me?" Slip your hand up. I'd be honored to pray for you. Anybody at all? Can I pray for you? That you'll get that settled before it's too late. Maybe if you know for sure you're lost, just go to your counselor. Right now, even. After service, say, "Hey, will you help me? Will you answer some questions for me? Will you help me understand what it means to be saved? I want to know for sure. I want to lay my head on my pillow tonight and know for sure my sins are forgiven." I'll never forget a night just like this, in this very room. A 300-pound, 16-year-old boy came walking down this middle aisle. Tears streaming down his face. Grew up in a Christian home. Grew up in church all his life. Wrapped his arms around me and said, "Brother Dave, I do not want to lay my head on my pillow again, fearing that the house will burn down or I won't wake up and I will wake up in hell. I've got to get this settled." I turned the service over. We walked behind this cabin right here. We knelt on this deck right behind me. And I listened to a 16-year-old football player, leader in his public high school, cry out to God to save him. Because he was tired of living a life not knowing for sure he was saved and allowing his pride to take him to hell. That could be you, teenager, young person. So everybody here said, "Brother Dave, will you pray for me? I don't know for sure I'm saved. But if I could know that for sure, I don't have that peace. I don't have that peace I've heard people talk about this week, and that joy in the Christian life. I don't have that. But I want it. Anybody at all, I'll be honored. Just lift your hand up, I'll pray for you. Is there one? Is there one? Lord, thank you so much for the powerful truth tonight. I can think of several illustrations in my own life. Things that your Holy Spirit convicted me about, and I buried them inside the walls of my camp. I said, "Okay, I'll never do that again." Until I want to again. And I kept going back to it and back to it and coming back to it. Pray it helps the teenagers get victory over those things in their heart and their life. Not just victory for a few days while they're at camp and don't have cell reception, but victory that lasts forever. Pray help them find people that love them and will help them. Spiritual people who are led by the Spirit of God and will help them and guide them and encourage them in their walk with God. Thank you for the Caden, Lord, his testimony. Lord, his I appreciate him being sensitive to the Spirit of God and messages, the direction this week. I pray help each one of us to heed what we've heard tonight. We ask this in your name. Amen. Wow. Thank you, Brother Caden. All right, have a seat. That's good. I needed that.
Amen.
We all needed that. Amen. What time is it?